come here. Let's stop simmering and start boiling.
I recently watched every single Bewitched episode, and now we're ranking the very best episodes of the entire series. I will say, some definitely stand out more than others, but now with every season fresh in my mind, here are my favorite, the top 25 episodes of the most magical show of the 60s. And hey, this is just our rankings. Which episodes would you take off, and which would you add to our list? But now, without further ado, let's see if your best memories of Bewitched align with ours. Season 1, Episode 1, I, Darren, take this witch, Samantha. You're a what? I'm a witch. There's nothing more important than a good opener, am I right? First impressions, set the tone, get us to care about our band of misfits, you know the drill. And you better believe Bewitched brewed up a real winner with its pilot. We get to see the very start of the love story between Samantha and Darren, even if it is a bit rushed. It sets up the ongoing conflict between using powers or not. Plus, Samantha getting even with Sheila was oh so satisfying. It's always good to see a bully getting put in their place. This episode had a bit of everything. It really set the show up for success. It's also directed by William Asher, who was Elizabeth's real-life husband. Of course, we have to meet my personal favorite character, Endora, and she is, well, Endora. Warning Samantha of the prejudices she may face, marrying a mortal, gross. And this is just the beginning for poor old Darren, which is absolutely hilarious. But he proves love can conquer all fears, and that alone deserves 9 stars out of 10. Seriously, what a wonderfully magical journey we are about to embark on. Season 1, Episode 2, Be It Ever So Mortgaged. Since we got to see the start of Sam and Darren's love story, we get to witness all the relatable milestones, even the lovebirds finding a new nest. Gosh, I remember my wife and I finally finding our first place, walking through that front door and just feeling a bit different than all those prior options. It just felt for the very first time that it was ours, and an entire new future open to us. There's no feeling like it, and we get to watch our favorite witch and Darren find theirs. I'll tell you what though, I definitely wouldn't have minded having the spells Endora and Samantha had while trying to decorate their place. It takes me like a month to finish painting the guest bedroom, but their magic is so fun to watch play out with all the practical tricks they utilized. It was cool seeing them live the dream, changing this and that faster than blinking. Just watch out for the nosy neighbors, huh? Because of course this episode is so monumental by giving us our first taste of Glattus Kravitz.
And the house across the street has got a lawn, and after there are trees and flowers.
The premise that's so iconic we'd see it again in practically every sitcom, like Alf, when a nosy neighbor keeps trying to tell her husband there's an alien living next door.
I'm not crazy, Abner. It was full of furniture, beautiful stuff, and bingo!
And so, for a charming blend of everyday norms, showing us Glattus, and illustrating the neat magical tricks we would see throughout the entire show, this episode gets 10 stars. I'm obsessed already. Season 1, Episode 7, The Witches Are Out. Witches have feelings too, and they're tired of being shown as evil-looking, ugly old hags. Hey Darren, you're in advertising, couldn't you help? Well, it turns out maybe not, because his latest project has none other than a cartoony, ugly old witch. And his boss doesn't want to hear this nonsense about a beautiful witch? Who ever heard of such a thing?
I'm telling you, that's not what I want. I want an old crone.
Well, Husband of the Year Darren drops the project, but Wife of the Year Sam helps get even with Brinkman and get Darren back on the project. We also get to meet Aunt Clara for the first time. This episode has a fun twist on the Bewitched formula. How would an actual witch react to all the scary masks, the ugly makeup? Yeah, I'd be pretty upset too. But the episode also has a very important message to learn, and so it gets 8 beautiful, beautiful, not ugly witch stars. It also aired a couple days before Halloween 1964, so I do think that helped to make this one memorable for sure. Do you remember? Season 1, Episode 15, A Vision of Sugar Plums. If you know anything about Nostalgic Nick, well, you know we weren't making it through this list without a Christmas episode. Automatic 11 stars, nothing else needs to be said. Alright, I'll do it the right way. No magical shortcuts. This time. Well, the orphanage is letting kids stay with families for the holidays, and the Stevens get a troublemaker named Michael, who, if you'll notice, was played by Lost in Space's Bill Mumy, who frequented so many of our favorite shows back in the day. Well, Orphan Michael is going on about Santa not existing. Hey, what a crock.
Don't you want to see what Santa brought you, son?
I don't care what you've brought me, and I'm not your son.
And Christmas isn't even real baloney. Honestly, it's actually heartbreaking when you think about it. How little holiday joy Michael must have had, no family to share it with. I mean, just think about all the Christmas traditions you had with your family growing up. Yeah, exactly. Now Samantha is dead set on giving Michael something to enjoy about the holidays. And who better to recruit than jolly old St. Nicholas himself? Their field trip to the North Pole is a dream come true for every kid out there, and probably for every tired adult too. Bonus points for this episode because we not only got Bill Mumy, but we also got the TV debut of a pre-I Dream of Jeannie, Bill Daly. Honestly, Bewitched did something special with this Christmas episode, and so it gets 9 stars from us and 1 atop the Christmas tree. So wait, let's recount then. That's 10. 10 stars for Christmas. Season 1, Episode 17. A is for Aardvark. Darren takes a nasty fall and is prescribed total bed rest. When the going gets too tough for Sam, she uses her powers to have the whole house take care of Darren.
Window closed.
But Endora is right to worry about how Darren handles this kind of power. But A, man, that would be so cool to have. And B, it does set up for a very fun change of pace, seeing Darren so gung-ho about Sam's powers all of a sudden. Suddenly magic ain't so bad, huh, Darren? This is a tight episode. Only the main 4 stars are in the entire thing, those being Sam, Endora, Darren, and Larry Tate. Oh yeah, and William Asher is on record calling this one the definitive episode of Bewitched. Truly, it was a great one, flipping the script and answering some questions, like, yeah, magic comes at a cost, there are lines you shouldn't cross, and Sam doesn't want to just fix everything with a spell all the time, especially when it changes the man she loves the most. But Darren really pulls it together in the end. That gets this episode 8 stars. Season 1, Episode 29, Abner Cadabra. Alright, so our final entry from Season 1 is maybe my all-time favorite episode. Glattus sees Samantha doing some magic and is then convinced she is in fact the one with the powers. And let's face it, Alice Pierce just steals the show with this one.
I moved all the pictures on their wall without even touching them.
Just look at Glattus in that gypsy costume. I mean, it's a hoot. Mind over matter, right? Abner says one of my favorite lines when he's not turned into a pile of dust. Samantha says,
She says she's getting vibrations.
Vibrations? She's chewing on the electric blanket again.
I'm getting tingly just thinking about this one. 10 out of 10 stars, Alice Pierce, you are a joy to watch. Season 2, Episode 1, Alias Darren Stevens. Alright, we're in Season 2 now. Love is still in the air when we catch up with Samantha and Darren on their wedding anniversary. I remember my first anniversary. Romantic candlelit date night, fantastic pricey dinner, and a boat ride at sunset. It was perfect. Theirs is a bit different. Some wayward magic turns Darren into, a chimpanzee. Chimp obviously steals the show for this one, what a cutie. Fun fact, the animal trainer for the chimp was the same one who trained Zamba, the MGM logo lion. Okay, back to Bewitched. As if avoiding his co-workers wasn't rough enough, the poor guy then gets dropped into a zoo. And Sam has some very big news to tell him. Can anything else possibly go wrong? This episode was packed with magical mayhem and was a big reminder to Darren why he doesn't like all this hocus pocus. I'd have liked a bit more ceremony for Samantha to share that she's pregnant.
You're what?
I'm gonna have a baby.
You're kidding.
Honest.
But hey, we're here for laughs anyway, and this episode gets 7 stars from me and a feeding time for the monkeys. Season 2, Episode 5, The Joker is a Card. If you didn't think we'd get big twists in a silly sitcom, then you're wrong. Bewitched pulled it off with a rare truce between Darren and Endora, just in time for Paul Lynde to make his big debut as the prank wizard himself, Uncle Arthur. The best center square in the business graces this wonderful show for only 10 episodes, but certainly makes his presence felt. Who would have known meeting Uncle Arthur was the start of a small but very memorable journey with Lynde absolutely in his element. If we could have given this guy magic in real life, I guarantee he would have been this wacky, and then some. Such a wonderful comedian. As far as character intros go, this set the bar sky high and earns 9.5 stars, plus some front row seats to the prank war of the ages. Season 2, Episode 13, My Boss, the Teddy Bear. In Season 2, Episode 13, things are just looking up for Darren scoring some time off. Endora even helps this time, but it wouldn't be Endora if there wasn't some hitch in the plan, even if she probably didn't mean it. And now Darren, is totally convinced his boss is now a cute, fluffy, cuddly teddy bear.
You certainly look warm enough. And you heard what Sam said. We'll have you back to normal in no time.
And hey, where'd the bear go? This one is great fun. Everything just snowballs and gets worse and worse. I give this 7 stars for putting us under that classic Bewitched spell. Die-hard fans should know that it was the final one filmed before Montgomery left for maternity leave, having her son, Robert. Season 2, Episode 18, and then there were 3. This one was a double punch of big intros. First and foremost was Baby Tabitha. We know Mom and Dad are not happy with Endora's name pick.
What do you think of Tabitha?
Tabitha?
But watching them welcome their baby was really sweet. It's a rare moment when Endora is actually kind to Darren. They share a pretty cute moment.
I have a daughter.
Well, apparently Cousin Serena hitched a ride with the stork, who looks so much like Sam. Poor Darren thinks Endora magicked his daughter up a few decades.
You see, I'm your father.
What a way to meet 2 big characters. Endora is her usual willful self. And you do really gotta feel for Samantha and Darren trying to make it work while it's Endora's way or the highway. Serena's a great addition, and getting to watch Elizabeth Montgomery play 2 roles was super fun. I always loved Serena, and so this episode gets 9 stars for hilarity and heart. Season 2, Episode 33, Divided He Falls. Endora divides Darren into his serious work half and his fun-loving half so Samantha can go on their planned vacation. This one makes the top 25 for Dick York's brilliant performance. It's an episode you really see, wow, this guy can freaking act. And don't just listen to me. In 1997, TV Guide ranked this one number 48 on the top 100 episodes of all TV of all time.
Got a better idea. Why don't you just twitch your nose and whap up some champagne?
So yeah, trust us. I mean, fun Darren still lives on in my head from time to time, and I'm fun nostalgic Nick whenever I can. And so for that, this one gets 10 stars, a must-watch for all TV comedy lovers. Season 3, Episode 3, Witches and Warlocks are my favorite things. Alright, we're on to Season 3 now. Endora's called a lot of shots, but this one is on a whole other level. Turns out little Tabitha is a little prodigy. Like, once-in-a-generation kind of prodigy. Which is what my parents called me until they saw my freshman math grade. But I think Tabitha will have better luck than me at Trig.
There she is! There's Maurice's little precious.
The problem is little prodigies ought to go to her aunt's big fancy school, and oops, who cares if Mom and Dad get put under a spell to let it happen? Anywho, this looks like a job for Dad. What a roller coaster. Endora really ups her Wicked Witch stepmom game, and I'm definitely on Sam and Darren's side. But man, Agnes Moorehead is just so good at being bad. 8 stars well deserved for this episode. Do you remember this one? Season 3, Episode 22, 3 Wishes. Olindora is at it again, and she's gonna prove once and for all that these mortals are up to no good. This time, she makes it so Darren can make 3 wishes.
I've given him 3 wishes to prove it. You what? You can't.
One small note, he doesn't know he's got this, blessing? Maybe a curse? I think it's because it is Endora that it is automatically a curse. And, well, Mother Nature is dead set on making Darren look like exactly the slimeball Endora thinks he is. Endora's scheme is so smart and it's almost scary, making Darren look both like a good guy and a cheat somehow. But the best line of the episode, of course, goes to Darren when Sam says she's going home to Mother and Darren says, quote,
I'm going home to Mother.
What do you mean going home to Mother? Your mother's always here.
Gah, a magical mother-in-law must get tiresome. Anywho, it all ties together nicely with Sam and Darren reaffirming their love.
Good night, Spear.
Feeling better?
Much.
And reaffirming this episode's 8-star rating. It's a great one. Season 3, Episode 25, Charlie Harper, Winner. Our final entry from Season 3, which overall I really enjoyed. I loved baby Tabitha now in the mix. Well, Darren and Sam are competing with Darren's old college pal and his wife. Charlie Harper is the pal, and if that name sounds familiar, it's because Charlie Harper was a famous advertising illustrator in the 50s and 60s.
Darling, don't you have something to do with advertising?
In a small way.
Well, I thought you bought 2 big agencies last summer.
Just one.
Along with this one being really funny, it also teaches a really sincere message. That material goods and money can never buy true love. I mean, it's an oldie but a goodie for sure. This one gets 10 stars, and let me tell you why. Because I think it signifies why the early seasons of Bewitched are just so compelling. And that is the wholesome message available in most episodes, because, I don't know, the later ones become a bit more cynical and less heartwarming. And Bewitched, along with some other classics like The Munsters, it was so genius because it taught the family as they watched. Wonderful episode of a wonderful show, 10 out of 10. Season 4, episode 4, Double, Toil and Trouble. The 4th episode of Season 4 continues on with Queen of the Witches, Samantha. Yeah, bet you didn't see that one coming. Of course, this is another complication in the wacky lives of Queen Samantha and Prince Darren? I mean, that sounds fancy enough. But things get extra messy when Endora tries to get even with Darren for making Sam end one of her royal meetings early. And Endora even recruits Serena to try and, sabotage an entire marriage.
Serena! Has dear cousin Samantha gone?
Boy, when the powers that be were making those vows, they really should have added, in sickness and in health, and in actual witch mother-in-law using magical cousins to cause a divorce, till death do us part. But if Sam and Darren can make it, anyone can. And this funny, kinda stressful episode gets 6 stars for its effort, and 1 more for Serena kissing Larry Tate.
How are you, Sam?
The look on his face alone bumps this one up to 7 stars out of 10. Season 4, Episode 20, If They Never Met. Oh boy, Darren, you really shouldn't joke about things like, well, anything honestly. Darren, in a fit of frustration, says he wishes he and Samantha never met.
You said it, I didn't.
Well, Endora grants him this fantasy, and he's now about to marry his old girlfriend Sheila again. This would be Nancy Kovac's final appearance as Sheila. Maybe I'm just a softie, because this one gets 9 stars out of 10 for the power of love. Because the best part of the episode is when Sam does finally see Darren for the first time again. And you just can't fight destiny. It is, in fact, love at first sight again. 9 stars out of 10 again. Season 4, Episode 28, I Confess. Just what would happen if Samantha's secret became public? Well, we finally get a glimpse at the tail end of Season 4.
How many mirrors? 2?
When Darren has an outburst and suggests that telling the whole dang world that Sam's a witch is a good idea.
Larry, we're not kidding. My wife is a witch.
Well, Sam conjures up a dream that'll show him what would happen if they did. And it doesn't take long for things to snowball and get tangled into a messy knot. Now, dream episodes can be really hit or miss. Yeah, Newhart would be like the gold standard, but sometimes it just leaves us disappointed, you know? Of course, Bewitched would be one of the few to break the mold. Every moment still felt real and taught Darren a valuable lesson. And so, dream or not, it had lasting consequences, and that gives every moment meaning. And for that, I give this episode 9 stars out of 10. Season 4, Episode 30, Samantha's Secret Saucer. When you've got like 3 generations of witches in close proximity, stuff's bound to go wrong. Especially when someone looking at you and Clara brings the kid's toy flying saucer to life. And oh good, it comes complete with an alien space crew. Hello Air Force officer, I can totally explain. It's a prop for Darren's new ad campaign. Whew, that worked once, but if they come around again, this whole place will become Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This one was almost the Bewitched and Alf crossover of my dreams. Or maybe Bewitched and Mork and Mindy, either way. It was fun seeing fantasy and sci-fi mix, and this memorable episode gets 7 stars and a shuttle up to the space station. Season 5, Episode 1, Samantha's Wedding Present. Season 5 opens with another anniversary. Look how long these two have lasted, the mortal and the witch. They said it could not be done. And by they, I do mean mostly Endora. Man, she knows how to make 5 years feel like 50. Well, this time Darren inspired the wrath of Endora after reacting poorly to a wedding gift from Sam's mom. And so Endora does what every mother-in-law does, casts a spell to shrink him. At least it's not quite Thumbelina levels of small, but that doesn't really help when Darren gets leprechaun napped by a drunk guy who wants 3 wishes before he'll let him go. You know, it's still a big talking point among fans if Darren is so wrong for wanting Sam to totally drop magic. The debates bring up some interesting points, but I have to admit he's been through it, and I also have to admit I laughed through this entire episode. 8 stars for a comedic goldmine. I wish they went farther, honestly, with shrinking him and figuring out how to navigate like that. But honestly, the technology probably just wasn't there, and what we got was still a blast at Darren's expense too. Season 5, Episode 10, Samantha Loses Her Voice. Uncle Arthur's back, and he's brought a pet dog for Tabitha. Thanks, Uncle Arthur, you're the best. Well, over in the Stevens household, Uncle Arthur swapped out Sam's voice for Darren, with exactly the kind of hilarious and chaotic results you'd expect. Especially when poor Sam tries talking to anyone else, and instead of fixing things, Uncle Arthur makes them so much worse.
Oh, Arthur, it's not funny. It's just a little practical joke.
Let's face it, Paul Lynde is always a win every time he shows up. There's a reason we love his character so much when he appears in only 10 episodes. That's crazy. That's all Paul Lynde needed to leave a mark, and I can't give this episode any fewer than 9 stars. It's Bewitched at its best, doing some of the best magical mix-ups. Season 5, Episode 14, Samantha's Super Maid. You know what this house of magical mayhem needs? A maid who isn't in on the secret. But hey, this should free up Samantha's schedule to make some nice connections for Darren's career, right?
Good morning, Mrs. Stevens.
Good morning, Amelia.
Yeah, I know, the idea is as disastrous as it sounds, but man, their maid is just so kind and talented. I'm not firing her, you fire her. No, you do it, I'm not doing it. This is a great episode. It's always a riot when Bewitched brings in regular folks into the house of hilarious horrors. And this one does that whole setup perfectly. Plus, it was hilarious seeing Sam and Darren fight over firing Amelia. And so I give this episode 8 tidy stars and a tip. Season 5, Episode 25, Samantha's Power Failure. Now here's a twist. All the way in Season 5, Episode 25, we see Samantha become the fish out of water when she loses her powers. The cause? Well, her mortal marriage. Oh, Endora's gonna love this. And a bunch of her family gets thrown in after standing up for her.
You people eat at a time like this.
You're right, Sammy.
Turns out these magic users have a bit of a hard time living like us normals. Anywho, it's up to Sam to plead her case. It's a shame it took this long to get this kind of plot, I think, but I guess we needed all this time to really feel what the status quo was, to truly know what Sam is in for when she can't cast spells. The episode is a riot. Watching the others fumble with doing everyday stuff, it's great.
You could have objected, you know. Your mouth wasn't zipped at the time.
It kinda makes me appreciate learning to do things the regular way, cause Arthur and Serena were way out of their depths. The perfect potion of creative plot and hilarious jokes, this episode gets 9.5 stars. Season 6, Episode 1, Samantha and the Beanstalk. Even more magic and wonder comes to life at the start of Season 6 when Tabitha visits the world of Jack and the Beanstalk, and switches places with Jack. Cause as far as she's concerned, her parents like boys more than girls. If her parents want to set things straight, Tabitha's gotta be allowed a few changes to this fairy tale. Bewitched knows it tapped into a huge fun well of potential, and at times like these, it takes full advantage. It was definitely relatable for younger viewers who might feel left out, and it's super cool to see other, fairy tale creatures. They're real in Bewitched, it's awesome. Now this episode can be tricky, because this is when we're really in it with Dick Sargent as the new Darren, and I do think that turned off so many fans, and that's unfortunate of course. But me, yes, I do miss Dick York. I think he was brilliant, but I do give this episode 7 stars. It's great. Season 6, Episode 29, Turn on the World Charm. Sam gives Darren her dad's magic amulet, thinking maybe, just maybe, this will force Endora to be nice to him. And you know what, it turns out there is a force on this earth that can make it happen. But Endora is not happy with either of them when she finds out.
Hi, moms.
I'm here to enjoy our newfound friendship.
And of course, she's a pro at conjuring up revenge at the drop of a pointed witch's hat. Turns out our favorite couple is pretty quick on their feet and might just fix everything after all. It's nice to see episodes that are just Sam and Darren, getting along. And yeah, Endora creating some fighting. But since that was fake, I think it just goes to show you just how far they've come as a couple, even with a new Darren. Remember, we met them pretty much day one of their relationship. We've seen every big moment and their evolution. Whatever you think about Sargent's performance, and I see pros and cons to both Darrens, he had a point really pushing for a softer Darren. This is the culmination of Sam and Darren, and it's very satisfying seeing them team up and stop Endora. There were, fewer favorites in the later seasons, but as far as favorites go, this is a strong one. And that's why I give it 9 stars and an extra twitch of the nose. Season 7, Episode 13, Sisters at Heart. Okay, so I didn't love Season 7, but this episode did have to make the cut. The famous polka-dotted Sam and Lisa. This one went way over our heads when we were kids, but it is such a valuable lesson. So yeah, we do face bigotry often in the show, but it's always categorizing fantastical things like magic and witches. So, when the writers tackled it again, but with more real stakes, it just hits home. Yeah, it's also a Christmas episode, again, my favorites. What's so crazy about this one and why it gets 10 stars for me easily is that the script's inception was a class project for a bunch of 10th graders at Thomas Jefferson High. Their teacher contacted the Bewitched production staff, and it's noted in the end credits. Yep, a bunch of 5th period English class kids in room 309. Kids gave us this important episode. Isn't that incredible? Maybe we should listen to kids more often. And so, 10 stars from me. And hey, 1 from Elizabeth Montgomery because she has said it was her favorite episode. So hey, this one goes up to 11. 11 stars out of 10. Thanks, Nigel from Spinal Tap. Whew, what a journey. And I know you noticed I did not include anything from Season 8, and I'm sorry if I overlooked something. It just didn't have the same feeling as the rest while watching. I think maybe a close one to making the cut was School Days, with Tabitha being scared of an IQ test. I like this one because they flat out told that snooping teacher that they were indeed witches, and I like people speaking their truths. But besides this one, and maybe the finale, which was a remake from Season 2, I just couldn't feel the magic anymore. But if there's one thing I have learned from this incredible Bewitched rewind, it's that the magic wasn't just from Samantha's twitch of the nose. The TV show, Bewitched, it did have true heart. It was the perfect blend of fantasy, humor, and family when we needed it most. Something refreshing, new, and still wholesome. It helped us escape. For just a bit, magic was real, and we can all just have a good time laughing about it, laughing and dreaming. And so, that was my ranking. Do you remember's 25 best Bewitched episodes? But now we really need to hear from you. Get down in the comments section and tell us your favorite Bewitched episode. Maybe give me your top 5 or your top 10. Hey, do 25 if you want to commit. Did I include an episode that you kind of thought stunk? Well, get down in the comments and tell me. Tell me your favorite Darren. Heck, tell me any memories of Bewitched. Who did you watch it with? After all, we at Do You Remember are nothing without you. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up icon. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a memory. But most importantly, from my entire team here at Do You Remember, thanks so much for being here and for watching and for caring, and have a wonderful, magical day.